Hello, and welcome to Curlington Stories. Today, do I have some stories for you? Some absolute doozies, and I'll just tell you about them right now. So, first one we're going to be talking about, as per usual, we talk about two. The first one we're going to be talking about is a 16-year-old whose mother had passed away, sadly, and within 9 months, her father had a new woman move into the household and was already about 4 months pregnant. Now, the daughter ain't too happy about this, to say the least, for good reason. We're gonna give her that. They both end up treating each other pretty horribly, and it is quite a story, I'll tell you that much. Then the second story is a similar interesting situation where the husband of this household is apparently attracted to, I guess, his stepdaughter, and it just goes without saying that that one's an absolute mess too, but we'll get to it. So let's take it from the top with the first one. Am I the asshole for not helping my dad's pregnant girlfriend and telling her to fuck off when she asks? Yeah, like I said, I warned you, this one's a doozy. My mom died 14 months ago and shit's been tough since. I, 16F, always had a great relationship with my dad before, but lately it's been pretty awful. 4 months ago, my dad brought this woman home, told me she was his girlfriend, and that she was pregnant and moving in with us. This was 9 months after my mom died. I didn't really know what to say at first. He was scrambling to say stuff, but I don't really remember what he said. But when I did speak, I was bitter, and I told him, I guess, he found a great way to tell me how he never loved my mom and was over her. Now, initially, when I heard this line, I was like, oh my god, this got spicy real quick. Like, that is a disturbing thing to say. And initially my thought was, wow, this girl is really, really bratty. But she explains the reasoning behind this, and it is sound reasoning for her saying this. It's still petty, and it's still messed up, and I absolutely would not have said this to my father. I'm sure even 9 months later, he's probably still grieving the death of his wife, but doing it in a way that you probably aren't seeing or a way that you don't understand. And honestly, this new woman is probably a part of that process too, which isn't great, but it is what it is. I said that because he had always talked about people moving on within like 2 years of their husband or wife dying as never really loving them, and got over them super fast. He'd say that loving someone and being ready to move on would take a much longer time. He said he saw it in family and family friends who's been through the loss. He said the people who moved on super fast were disrespectful, especially when they had kids who had lost a parent and needed to be supported and their parents' memory preserved. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable take. I mean, yeah, it's to each their own. I mean, some people might not need as long to move past, certain things. I mean, everybody experiences grief and, their connections and their relationships and all that. They're all different. There's so much nuance from person to person. So you can't really just put a guideline out for everyone. I mean, you might believe that, but you could also be completely and utterly wrong. And lo and behold, he actually turns out to be very hypocritical of these statements that came out of his own mouth. So I took it really hard when dad was admitting he'd knocked someone up 7 months after my mom died. They started screwing each other 5 months after mom died, which is something I hate thinking about, but he admitted it. Bro, that's crazy, to tell your 16-year-old, yeah, your mom died 9 months ago, and 5 months later, I was banging this other chick. I don't even know how this conversation could have unfolded, but it's sad. His girlfriend got extremely pissed off when I was saying that stuff to dad about him not leaving mom. She took offense that I was focusing on that instead of on the news of a baby and greeting her. I ignored her and kept telling my dad what I thought, and she lost and said I should be excited about the baby. I mean, she doesn't have to be excited. She doesn't have to be excited about you having a baby. She doesn't even know you. Yes, that is going to be her half sibling, her father's child, but either way, why do you have to dictate whether or not, she can be excited about something? It seems to be a pretty autonomous decision up to her, if she wants to feel some sort of way about it. Can't expect everybody to feel how you want them to. She said mom was dead and dad had a right to life after her. She said the baby didn't deserve this shit. She moved in that day and dad spent days trying to make me okay and to apologize for it all happening so fast. His girlfriend didn't want me there and said I needed to leave if I wouldn't welcome her and celebrate the baby. Dad said no, but I told him I wanted to go. He tried to fight it, but I asked him if he ever wanted a relationship with me because if he did, it would not happen if I was forced to live with her. So obviously I'm going to give, my full verdict at the end of this, but I just want to share a little bit of my opinion here at this checkpoint. I do think what the dad did is a little messed up, especially since it goes against his own beliefs when it comes to like grief and, you know, finding somebody new after somebody passes. And putting your daughter through this is even worse. Like, maybe he thought, you know, bringing somebody else into the picture might be beneficial for her. I don't know what his thought process is. That never really gets explained. But either way, it is selfish in a way, and it's alarming. Also, why did you have to bring this lady in particular? She sounds awful. She's so disrespectful. She's not even trying to have a solid, healthy relationship with this girl. Like, I feel like she has made no effort, at least from the retelling of the original poster. I don't have all the details, but it seems like she's not making any positive, genuine effort to have a healthy relationship with the daughter here, and she's just being bratty and bitchy and demanding, which I guess if that's what you're into, sir, power to you. I moved in with my grandparents. Dad comes to see me multiple times a week. He's talked me into going to the house for dinner a couple times, but me and his girlfriend do not like each other. She's extra bitter that dad's so focused on making our relationship work instead of on her and the baby. Yeah, she sounds terribly selfish. The last time I saw her was a month ago, and she told me I was disgusting for not getting over myself and warming up to the baby who's coming whether I like it or not. She was also pissed that I wouldn't pick up something for her when she dropped it. Last Tuesday, I got a text from her. Don't have her number, but she said who she was, telling me she needed me to go over there now because she left her key in the house and got locked outside, and she was in pain and having some bleeding and was supposed to rest. I still have a key to the house, and Dad was still at work. I replied fuck off, and I didn't go to help her. I blocked her number too. After that, she used Dad's phone to leave a voicemail yelling at me and calling me names for leaving her outside when she's 7 months pregnant. I ignored it, and Dad told me she just waited in the car until he got home. But she texted me in the middle of the night from Dad's phone calling me a piece of shit. My dad knows about it, and he apologized. He's still trying to make this all okay with me, but he also hopes we can all get along and be a family. Am I the asshole? I'll tell you guys off the bat, most of the verdicts here, most people responding to this are saying no, she's not. And I'm saying that too for the majority of it. I agree with her being discontent with this woman. She seems quite vile, selfish, self-centered, egotistical, and a narcissist. She seems awful. Like, I will just throw that out there, and I mean it every word. At least from, again, what the original poster is telling us, so we're gonna believe what she says for the sake of this video. However, the last thing she did was extremely petty. Like, that was teetering on beyond petty. Like, that was actually like almost dangerous in a way. You know, you don't know what kind of pain she's experiencing, and she is carrying a child, a living being inside of her. She needs extra care and support physically, and if she needed to get inside of that house and rest, then I would have swallowed my pride. No matter how much you dislike this person, how ungrateful they are, how shitty they are, like, you should have let her in. Like, that is still, you know, going to be the mother of your future sibling, the mother of your father's child. Like, it's just, that is your family, you know, unfortunately, but that is your family. And despite her being a nasty witch, you know, there should have been at least some sort of sympathy for her to the point where you wouldn't let her be locked out of the house. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that necessarily makes her an asshole for doing that in particular. The rest of it, though, like, she was definitely entitled to feel and act the way that she did. This is just something that I think is open to debate a little bit, open to discussion. So let me know what you guys think about that particular maneuver down in the comments. Now, the dad never really responded to the criticism of, you know, moving on so quickly, but I will defend something about this in the sense that, like, well, you never really know how you're gonna feel about certain things when they do happen to you. You know, it's possible that maybe he just absolutely just fell in love with this woman and he's still grieving his wife, or maybe he's not. I don't know. You can't fault someone for how they feel towards other people or whatever it is. You know, people will say things that to them might be correct in the moment, but that could always change. And that's a normal thing when you're being a human being. But my personal opinion is that he should definitely always think of his daughter first, bringing this woman around and all of that. Like, obviously he knew that there could potentially be some conflict with his daughter, but at the same time, he does have to live his life. His daughter is getting older. You know, she's not a baby. She's a 16-year-old. She is approaching being adult. I mean, she's taking care of herself in a sense where she's living with her grandparents. Like, she made moves to keep her best interests at heart, but it is a very conflicting scenario. I just don't get why you have to bring, I just don't know why you had to bring Regina George into the household out of all people. Couldn't have kept window shopping until you found something a little less aggressive, you know, maybe somebody your daughter would actually like. I don't know, just me, just saying. Let's move on to the second scenario. Am I the asshole for making my daughter leave because my husband is attracted to her? Well, if we didn't get the full context, I'm not sure what the full context is going to be. I would assume from this title that, yeah, that sounds pretty assholey, but well, I'll give you the floor for a minute, I'll give you a chance, and we'll come back to that verdict. I, 55F, have been married to my husband, my daughter's stepdad, 63N, for 4 years. My 23-year-old daughter, oh god, this just got bad real fast. Dude 40 years older than her. Why are you looking at a 23-year-old dog? What's going on with you? Huh? What's going on? Anyway, my 23-year-old daughter and I have a complicated relationship. Oh, I fucking bet. She has been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. We're gonna come back to that. She has a lot of trauma from watching me and my husband's horrible marriage go down and was bullied in school. When she told me she was being bullied by peers, my view that all children are innocent really tied my hands, because I told her that if I said anything to them, I would be an adult harassing a child. She has blamed me for that ever since and keeps referring to this one time where the kids at school called her trash due to the fact that she wasn't taking care of her hygiene due to her depression. Not all of my response was telling her to take a shower, and I bought her new clothes. The bullying finally ended with an expulsion and suspension for the ringleaders. She still throws the fact that a school clinic volunteer told her that if she was their kid, she'd have permission to punch back if administrators didn't do anything. I thought that having her live with me while she finishes school and gets a job would help heal some childhood wounds if my second husband and I modeled a healthy relationship. However, my daughter now doesn't get along with my husband. She's a very introverted, creative person who likes immersing herself in escapism. So she'd get annoyed if she was sitting eating alone and my husband would sit across from her and eat, saying she ate later so she could eat alone. However, my husband started acting distant from me and my daughter complained that his eyes lingered for too long. She got very angry and there was a lot of shouting and slamming of doors. Finally, my husband admitted he's attracted to her and it's hard to be around her all day. Said she was walking temptation and said that's why he was avoiding sex with me. I was so upset to hear this. I don't blame my daughter for this, but at the same time, the situation has become unbearable. Something would have to give, and I couldn't collect my thoughts with both of them still being in the house. So I gave my daughter money to stay in an extended stay hotel and asked her to utilize her college's emergency financial and housing resources they have for students in need. She responded by storming out and telling my ex, who is now circling social media, using it to paint me as a villain of all villains. I'm not abandoning my daughter. She qualifies for those resources anyway, since my ex is unemployed and we are in substantial debt. I just need time to process the situation, and I don't want to leave my house to stay with my daughter when I have a marriage to figure out whether or not to save. Am I the asshole? Okay, we'll get to the verdict in a moment, but we need to talk about the fucking elephant in the room. So, dissociative identity disorder, huh? Okay. How does one get that? Let's see. Formerly known as multiple personality disorder, is a mental health condition that arises from severe trauma, particularly during childhood. It's often a coping mechanism used to escape overwhelming emotional pain and is characterized by the presence of multiple distinct personalities or identities within one individual. Okay. Well, she says that it sprouted up from the rough relationship that she had with her first husband and being exposed to that. The key word here is severe trauma. I think it might take a little bit more than just mommy and daddy arguing a little bit to develop dissociative identity disorder. I mean, I'm not a mental health expert or anything of the sort, but that is just I feel like a logical assumption. A lot of people in the responses to this have pointed that out as well. So it makes you wonder what the hell was going on when she was just a child. That is concerning. What is it that you aren't telling us? But that's beside the point. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Are you the asshole? Yes, you are. And the reason for that is telling your daughter, who is not the root of the problem, to leave when the husband is still there and they are the root of the problem. So that is bizarre. That is bizarre to turn on your own child and instead of the man who has recently moved into your home. That seems very backwards. Like, putting the man before your child is crazy. Now, What I personally feel like should have been done is the man is the root of the problem. Remove them from the home while you take some time to process things. Ask your daughter what she wants, because right now he's the problem, not her. She has done nothing wrong. Why is she being punished? This was a very selfish, silly, stupid move. As far as him being attracted to her, I mean, I don't know what the hell, man. Like, why is this even being put out in the open? You should be trying to address that situation, trying to figure something out, fix it, because that's not right. You shouldn't be looking at your stepdaughter that way, you fucking weirdo. But anyway, that's really all I got to say. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you did enjoy, feel free to like and subscribe button. Till next time.